From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm height, weight, proportionate, Bill Curtis. And here's your host at the Chase Bank Auditorium in Chicago, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks, everybody. So 2014 is hard to sum up in a single word. Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad, disastrous. You really need to go to the German to do it justice.
Der schwarzen Misery Sucketud Gewordenschaft, meaning, well, 2014.
So, this week, as 2014 goes to its deserved end, we review the first half of the year as covered on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
We begin with the top stories of the winter and spring, starting with a story of a very rude neighbor.
Our main concern is the orgy that is happening.
That was Vladimir Putin trying to make the conflict where sound much more interesting than it probably is.
Crimea?
Yes, Crimea in the Ukraine. Very good. Russian troops are flooding into Crimea, except Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, says they are not. He says they're just not there. Reporters are going up to Russian soldiers in the Crimea and saying, "Hello, so where are you invading from?" And
invading?
Yeah, and the soldiers are like, New Jersey.
Student visa.
Yes.
This always happens when people win so many medals at the Olympics.
They get cocky?
They just get so carried away.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm great at skeleton.
I might as well head up the coast and invade Crimea.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants another medal in winter invading.
Our Western partners have crossed the line, playing the bear and acting irresponsibly.
That was a world leader who certainly has his fair share of experience dealing with bears. He was railing against the U.S. in a big speech to his parliament this week. Who was it?
That would be that Vladimir Putin.
That Vladimir Putin guy, yeah. This week, Vladimir Putin of Russia annexed Crimea. He just took it. He ran out of tigers to tranquilize, was bored, looked around for something to do. Russia's justification, United Nations Charter Article 4, Section 2, finders keepers. And this is true. Ukraine is in such bad shape, both in terms of its political leadership and its finances, that they actually announced a fundraiser for their army. In
like
Ukraine,
a Kickstarter?
Not that bad. More like one of those Red Crossings. If you text to this number, you donate $5 to the army. It's like, hello, can you support our army? It's the public radio approach to national defense.
So they don't have guns, they have mugs.
Exactly. It's like, every now and then the Ukrainian defense minister makes a speech. It's like, we know you enjoy the security and comfort you get from a functioning military. So why don't you take some time to support it? Donate now, and we'll send you a wonderful souvenir mug you can throw at the invading forces. Or, if you're driven from your homes, carry your possessions in this tote bag. What's interesting is, of course, this is happening in the U.S. is pretty much, it's impotent. What are you going to do? You're going to launch a war? You're going to send in troops? You can't do that. The U.S. instead...
Yeah, we're the U.S. We never do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, we never do it against countries that can fight back. That's the rule.
What we need to do, we need to get the Ukrainians to discover oil.
Yes.
Then we'll go in.
Then we'll go. Then
we'll
of course
go
we'll
in.
be in.
Then we'll help.
Yeah.
But I saw Barack Obama did his press conference, and he was talking about blah, 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 blah. And I realized, I think, today he realized, man, this job sucks. I think today was the day he was like, this job sucks.
Back home, the Rocky Mountains were getting higher. Here's guest panelist Cindy Shupak with a show we did in March.
It's no joke. Colorado pulls in millions.
That was a headline about the amazing tax receipts Colorado is getting from the sale of what?
Marijuana.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Marijuana. Oh, you would know this. Being from Fort Collins, of course. Right there. Colorado reported that in just the first month of legal recreational marijuana sales, they took in $2 million of tax income.
No.
Yes.
It actually sells?
It does. Who knew?
It must be the marketing campaign.
The problem with $2 million in tax revenue is the first thing you say when you get it is, you know how much weed we can buy with $2 million in tax revenue?
Can I add? I live in California where there's the pharmacy with an F right down. There's so many of these. It's all medical.
Yes, it is.
It's the real deal. So my husband has a prescription, which he got from a gynecologist. I'm not kidding.
Really?
For real.
Do tell.
I'm telling you.
So he goes to the gynecologist. The gynecologist
It's
says,
a
"Get up from the
racket."
table." He says, "Oh my God!" He says, "You're completely deformed." He says, "You need marijuana." He says.
It's such a racket.
I have to ask, you need a disorder, right, to qualify. So what is his problem?
His was sleeplessness.
Yes.
And I said, how does staying up all night watching action movies and eating Doritos cure your sleeplessness? But I think, we'll get the results of his pap smear and then we'll
Cindy, isn't this your first time on the show?
It is.
And that's the kind of thing you're revealing about your husband?
Don't worry, folks. One thing we learned this year is that you don't have to lie to your doctor about your genitalia to get medical care. Not after last April. Even P.J. O'Rourke was excited.
There are still no death panels. Armageddon has not arrived.
That was President Obama celebrating the success, for the moment, of what?
Obamacare?
Yes, indeed, Obamacare. On Tuesday of this week, President Obama came out to the Rose Garden with a sick child, newly covered by the Affordable Care Act, and spiked that kid into the ground. Go team! It's all right, he's covered. He'll be fine, he said. For a long time, it didn't look like the White House would reach its goal of 7 million people signing up for Obamacare by the end of March. But, as we do, a lot of Americans waited until the last possible minute to sign up. And, in truth, most of those people only did it because they thought they had a chance to win $1 billion from Warren Buffett. PJ, as our token Republican?
Yes, I know. I feel like some burden here,
I know.
to undermine the president in some way.
Can you? Is there any sense of, wow, what do you know, it worked. Maybe it isn't such a disaster.
No.
Just thought I'd check.
Let's just wait till April 15th when we get the bill for all this.
Because you actually, of course, most famously said, if you think healthcare is expensive, wait till it's free.
Yes.
That's
you think healthcare is expensive now, just wait till you see how much it costs when it's free. I did say that, but that was before I was on Medicare. And now I am on Medicare.
I just got to say,
you think that just because I'm some kind of right-wing Republican, I got to give that money back?
It occurs to me
again.
And one of the biggest stories of the spring was a very, very rich man acting very, very stupidly. Your first quote is literally the only part of a secret recording released this week that we feel comfortable repeating. Wow. Here we go. This is it.
Okay.
That's it. The rest of that recording just cost someone their job and $2.5 million this week. Who was it?
I do believe that's Donald Sterling.
Very good, Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling is, of course, well, at least for now, the owner of the LA Clippers. He was taped by his girlfriend telling her that she couldn't bring black people to his basketball games. If he doesn't like black people, why did he buy a basketball team? If he only likes white people, fine. He should have bought a golf team. Or a public radio station.
Now, I have a personal connection to the Clippers because I actually tell women I used to play for the Clippers because no one knows who played for the Clippers. Depending on who I'm talking to, I was a Clipper anywhere from 86 to 89, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to come out and say, I don't want black people at my basketball game. And to pick Magic Johnson, like the one guy that no matter how racist you possibly are, you still give a pass to Magic Johnson.
Right.
You're still like, well, Magic, he's all right.
The new NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, lowered the boom on Sterling, a lifetime ban and the maximum fine he's allowed to levy, $2.5 million.
A ban meaning that he can't do what?
He can't go to the games, any NBA games.
How will they know? I mean, don't you just buy a ticket and go in?
Hey, Paula, when you own the team and you say you hate black people, they're going to recognize you walking in.
One of the unfortunate things about this for Donald Sterling, and we feel sorry for him, it happened right before he was going to get his second Lifetime Achievement Award from the Los Angeles chapter of the NAACP.
They changed the words on the plaque.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Achievement in racism.
And for outstanding achievements in racism.
He's a major donor. Well, for one thing, Sterling loves the NAACP. They're the only other ones who still say colored people.
That was a good one as far as I'm concerned.
Take that.
Somehow, Peter, I think I'm going to be the arbiter of every joke you do in this bit.
I think so. When we come back, it's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me's Sports Machine and the world's greatest or worst nursing home. We'll be back with more of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Bill Curtis, and here's your host at the Chase Bank Auditorium in Chicago, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you all so much. So as 2014 exits the stage, we thought we'd give it one last kick in the pants. This week, the stories we will remember from the year that was.
Next up, Sports Ball. We provide all the incisive coverage of sporting events you would expect from NPR, such as these stories from the winter and spring of this year about the Winter Olympics and the World Cup.
But we'll start with a story of shame and dishonor for the steroid industry for getting themselves involved with this guy.
I think that Major League Baseball has done me a big favor because I've been playing for 20 years without a timeout.
That was somebody talking about how much he's going to enjoy taking 2014 off from his job. He doesn't have a choice. He's been thrown out after he was caught doping. Who was it?
Oh, gosh. It's not A-Rod.
It is A-Rod. Why wouldn't it be A-Rod? Yes.
Well, because we suspect about 2,000 other baseball players are doping is why it might not be.
He was the one in the news.
He's the one in the news.
Side note, if you want to know how much he doped, it's the guy who doesn't even know any baseball players' names, just picked A-Rod.
Yes.
But you know what I love about
What do you love?
He just said, hey, this is great. I have a year off, and he's a guy who sees the syringe as half full. It's got a nice attitude.
Let this be a lesson to all of you aspiring athletes out there. Do not use drugs because after making $200 million, you might be forced to sit by the pool for a year before getting $50 million more. We also got this week to see all the evidence that had been established against him, that he'd been using drugs. Major League Baseball said, look, here's the guy who testifies that he provided A-Rod with performance-enhancing drugs for years, and A-Rod's response, hey, you can't believe that guy. He's my drug dealer. One of the interesting things about this was it wasn't just drugs administered in such a way to increase his performance, but to evade testing. And so what would happen is, and they had endless texts between the drug guy, this guy named Bosch, and A-Rod saying, take this now, take this then. And in one of the texts, this is true, Bosch says, okay, I've got the drugs for you for today's game. And A-Rod texts back and he says, dude, do not call them drugs. He says, we call them food.
That's right.
Right? For plausible deniability. And Bosch is like, okay, great, A-Rod. Hey, in about half an hour, I'll be over to inject your food into your butt.
I mean, when getting into the evidence, I mean, what the governmental body looking into it is saying that this trumps Lance Armstrong.
Right, which is saying something.
Like when Lance Armstrong is like, "Whoa, dude,
You're overdoing it."
Whoa.
And one of
what? That's kind of cheating.
Do not use on your face because it contains something very dangerous.
That was what a reporter was told about the water in her hotel. Her hotel is one of the many venues apparently not ready for what big event?
That would be the Olympics.
The Sochi Olympics, yes. Very good. As the 2014 Winter Games began in Sochi, Russia, the big opening ceremony on Friday revealed the theme of the Games this year. It's the Hunger Games. Anybody who survives gets a medal.
It does. It makes you proud of our own country, I think, doesn't it? That, like, where you can get, a clean, comfortable room for the lowest price of any national chain.
Here's the crazy thing. These Olympics cost $50 billion. That's more than all prior Winter Olympics combined.
Wow. Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah,
all of them.
No. And they probably spent, what, a couple million on the village?
Well, apparently, when the media arrived in the week leading up to the Games, their hotel rooms weren't ready, or they weren't finished, or they weren't working. You heard Carl talking about the water in one hotel. But don't worry, the Russian officials announced they're importing fresh, clean water from West Virginia.
They didn't even take care of their own teams in the past. What are the odds of them taking good care of everyone's teams, It's like when in your neighborhood there's the house where you hear a lot of screaming and, there's beer bottles on the front lawn and stuff. You don't trick or treat there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. For some reason, so much of this weird news coming out of Sochi has been about toilets. That we saw the double toilet, one bathroom in a hotel that appeared to have two chests of drawers where the toilet should be, and then there was one bathroom that appeared to have facing the toilet a row of chairs for spectators. But no, it looks like, as appropriate for the Olympics, it looks like the judges' stand. Perfect twos all around.
Hot, cool, yours.
That is the official motto of what big international event that starts next Friday?
Was it the Winter Olympics?
The Winter Olympics, yes, in Sochi, Russia. Very good.
Seriously, that's the motto?
Hot, cool, yours.
Hot, cool, yours.
You know what happened? They were working on the slogan. They had something great, and then Putin walks in and goes, "It hot, cool, yours. Done." That's it, man. But
hot, cool, yours. It sounds kind of gay.
It sounds like a...
Well, good news. Everybody going to the Sochi Olympics, listen up. The mayor of Sochi has declared his town to be completely free of homosexuals. Now, people have been saying, what's wrong with this guy? He may be a bigot, but what if, perfectly nice man, he just has terrible gaydar? Right. He walks around town, taking in the day. It's like, whoa, that guy must really like to work out. And look, that guy ran out of leather when he was making his pants.
Remember when there were no gay people in Iran?
Yeah.
I mean, there were gay bars in Tehran. Thursday night at Gayatollah's. Rim shot, please.
Does anybody remember what the motto of the last Winter Olympics was?
I think it was
I don't even
hot,
remember.
cool mind.
Well, remember,
baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah. Remember, it was in Vancouver, Canada. So
Right.
It was like, it should be good.
Yeah.
Tune in, see what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, we don't want a gold medal. You can have it.
The entire set was cleaned and sanitized.
The studio needed to be sanitized before Matt Lauer came in and took over for whom?
For Bob Costas.
Indeed,
and
yes. Bob Costas. Every 4 years, we turn to the Olympics for drama, and the big drama of the 24 games in Sochi has been, what the heck is wrong with Bob Costas' eye? Was it pink eye? Had he died during the 2012 London Games and was finally starting to rot?
They couldn't have done any like Hollywood effects or blue screen or type of avatar.
Like give him a cyborg eye? That would have been something. Or they could have spun it better in the marketing department. Oh, the reason his eye is closed is because it's a tribute to the ring that didn't open in the opening ceremony.
I felt bad. Or you know what? They could have spun it like, you know what? Secretly, Bob Costas' his second job is like he's a daycare. He works at a daycare, and he's around a whole bunch of like little toddlers kids who have like germs and stuff.
You know
what?
Go ahead. Now it's so great because he can be the spokesman for Pink Eye. You know, he can do pink eye awareness events, to have galas to raise money to combat pink eye.
He can be to pink eye what Katie Couric is to colon cancer.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, back in the slopes, things were not going well for the Americans. We were even getting beat in the sports we invented, like snowboarding and pairs figure eating. And things were really tough for the snowboarders. Not only did Shaun White fail to win a third Olympic gold medal, his nickname, the Flying Tomato, was stolen by Bob Costas' eye. Brian, the World Cup started this week, and like most Americans, I'm sure you were glued to your TV watching something else. But as the tournament began, one of the big debates among the teams was whether the players would be allowed to do what?
Give me a slight hint.
Well, they're only allowed to score on the field.
Oh, no, man, because it's party with the locals.
They're not allowed to have sex, is the question. Many teams banned their players from sexual relations for the duration of the tournament. Said the Mexican coach, quote, if a player can't go 1 month without having sexual relations, then they're not prepared to be a professional player.
You gonna say it to me in Rio? That's rude, bro.
The good news is that means about 70% of our listeners are prepared to be professional soccer players. Congratulations, everyone. By the way, the coach of the U.S. team says his players are allowed to have sex, but they still won't be as good at it as the European players.
He is the greatest American since Abraham Lincoln.
That little note was added to Mr. Brooks' entry this week after he helped his team win a match where?
Was it the World Cup?
Yes, it was the World Cup. Of football, of course. Everybody in America instantly became a soccer fan on Monday after the U.S. defeated our arch rival Ghana. This is true. This is true. Most Americans did not know that Ghana is legitimately our arch rival in soccer. Most Americans didn't even know it was a country. Our best guess, Ghana, is an STD. We're not a global-minded people, is what I'm saying. But the team, of course, John Brooks is the guy who scored the go-ahead goal off his head. That's how they do. And these guys in the team who nobody ever heard of, they're now national heroes. And they will be until they inevitably lose. And you may be like, how can you do that? Where's your national pride? Who says they're going to lose? I'll tell you who did. Their coach did. Before the tournament, Jurgen Klinsmann, the German-born coach of the U.S. team, said they would not win the tournament. You can't do that. I mean, it's true, but you can't say it. Can you imagine like an American coach saying, well, we may be down, but we are also out. It is hopeless.
Well, he's German. He's very philosophical. Maybe he's like...
just blunt. You know?
Yeah. He's probably in the locker room going, you're going to lose and you will die too one day.
Yeah,
yes. Right. But first you're going to try.
Yeah.
You're going to run for 90 minutes and it's not going to be worth anything. You're going to die. But go out there and run because you're going to lose and die. That's his pep talk.
Your first quote is actually a series of headlines about Uruguayan soccer star Luis Suarez.
Huey Lewis and the Blues. Holy molar. Says soccer cannibal lawyer, there's no tooth to it.
Those are all references to Luis Suarez's hunger for victory in an opponent's shoulder. At this year's what?
The World Cup?
Yes, indeed! The World Cup! Yay! Football!
Copa Mundial! This is the week that Americans finally joined the rest of the world and became soccer fans. Oh, please. Look, give us a little time, okay? Look, if we had known there was biting in soccer, we would have started watching years ago. We love things with biting. Twilight movies, zombie movies, eating. After Luis Suarez of Uruguay bit an Italian opponent on the shoulder, two things happened. Suarez was thrown out of the rest of the tournament, and the player he bit turned Uruguayan.
The most amazingly soccer-y part of this whole event was that after he clearly bit this guy, and I'm not kidding, he fell to the ground and held his mouth like it had been hurt.
Well, it had been, actually, because what happened was he bit the guy, and the guy, being bit, elbowed him in the mouth, as one might naturally do upon being bit unexpectedly.
And we know shoulder meat's pretty tough.
That's true. I want to ask you, is soccer not the most gorgeous male sport there is?
Oh,
These guys are cute.
They're sinewy.
They're sinewy? Ronaldo? I am now gay, because I have watched Ronaldo play soccer. I mean, it just happens. Like, okay.
It's like I'm gay now, too. I became a male, and then I turned gay for Cristiano Ronaldo.
But I mean, they're physically so impressive, and then every time they score a goal, they become furious at their jersey. Like it did something.
Damn you! Get this off of me!
And then their beauty is even more on display. And then I'm like, you know what? Hold the second order of wings, because I see what it's supposed to look like when you're a hot dude, and it's not happening in this Applebee's.
To make up for all that sports coverage, here's what we know public radio listeners really want. The best stories from the fine arts from 2014.
Tom, an opera singer in Nashville has filed suit against her doctor. She says ever since an operation, she can no longer sing without doing what?
Does it involve flatulence?
It does.
Huh. How come I always get those questions, Peter?
Well, you always answer them correctly, Tom.
Oh, God, that's so great. No.
Every time Amy Herbst opens her mouth to sing a solo in the opera, she ends up performing a duet. The unwanted bass notes are the result of an operation that went wrong, thus she's suing her doctor. Instead of hiding her new gift, though, she is embracing it. She's in rehearsals for a bold revision of an opera classic, The Magic Flutes.
It could be the magic toot.
The Magic Toots.
I'm really hoping that she's a coloratura, so it's...
You know what I'm hoping? I'm an opera fan. I'm hoping that when it happens to her on stage, they also subtitle the fart above the stage. So she's singing along, and all of a sudden it's like... spelled P-F-F-F-F-F-F-F.
Luke, a Long Island nursing home is being sued by the son of one of its elderly residents. He was shocked and appalled when he found a picture of his dear mother being entertained by what?
Uh-oh. A stripper.
Yes, indeed. Franklin Youngblood went to visit his mother Bernice at the East Neck Nursing Center in Long Island and found a picture of his mom stuffing dollar bills into the very brief briefs of a male stripper brought to the nursing home for the entertainment of the residents. He sued. He said this was an insult to her dignity, but look, the woman is 85. She doesn't have to worry about her reputation, and we're guessing she was ready for a change from canasta.
What a bummer day when you work at the stripper service when you get your call sheet and it says East Neck Retirement Home. And then you're done, and then you just shake out your, your little banana hammock thing, and it's just like Werther's and other hard candies.
When we return, it's the scientific studies that Paula Poundstone loves, plus we all come down with Bieber fever.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Bill Curtis, and here's your host at the Chase Bank Auditorium in Chicago, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you all so much.
So this week and next, we'll be giving you the Reader's Digest version of the year 2014. Only the good parts, which frankly fills just about 15 minutes.
2014 had a lot of filler, but it also had a lot of scientific studies, which we covered, no matter what Paula Poundstone thinks.
Paula, a new study shows that people will often do what, even when not in the mood for it?
They will often do what, even when not in the mood for it.
Can I give you a hint?
Yes,
it's
please.
Like, OMG, I am so hot for you.
Oh, wow.
Have sex?
Well, a sort of more modern technological version of that.
Jump in the orgasmatron?
The OMG was a clue.
Oh, sext.
Sext, yes. Sexting.
Sexting. I find that bizarre that people do it even when they are in the mood for it. What would I don't understand. So you're not talking to the person and you're not with the person.
No.
You're just writing things spelled wrong.
Misspelling is optional.
OMG, I'm so into you.
Capital letter U.
Because you don't have time to write a Y and an O. Now I feel bad for Mark Weiner.
Anthony Weiner. Everybody calls him Anthony.
Anthony Weiner was just bored. I just think that if we could have been more stimulating as a nation, he would not have sent pictures of his private parts to women.
Adam, a new study finds that men who don't get dates online all have one thing in common. What is it?
They tell the truth.
That was a sad answer that came from hard experience, didn't it, Adam? No, it's not that. Although maybe that's a problem.
All right, so
nobody online is telling the truth.
These are guys online trying to get dates.
And they're making a significant mistake that significantly decreases their chances of getting a date.
They're listing themselves as single.
No, it's like, come on, lonely guy, turn that closed parenthesis upside down.
They're using sad faces?
They're using emoticons.
Yeah.
Apparently using emoticons online significantly decreases your chance of getting a date.
That makes sense.
I'm not surprised at all.
That's not surprising.
Men who use the basic smiley emoticon are the worst off, next to men whose smiley emoticons still live with their mom emoticons.
It just seems to me, in a busy world, if you don't have time to type an O and a Y, why on earth would you have time to figure out? No, a Y and an O. I put it in the wrong order.
Yeah. Lazy. You're decrying lazy online Jews. They don't even take the time to write oi.
The busy Jew.
Oh, I'd write oi, but who has the time?
I can
It's
only
write
write
oi or light a candle. We don't have time for both. Thank goodness I don't have to type.
Going number 2, dogs can feel pompous because we always know where our rump is. Up north is the mouth, and the other end's south. When squatting, we're just like a
compass.
Yes, indeed. According to a groundbreaking new study, dogs align themselves with the Earth's magnetic field when they poop. Biologists examined 70 dogs pooping over a 2-year period and came to 2 conclusions. First, dogs tend to align their bodies in a north-south axis. And second, man, is it time to get a new job. So if you get lost in the wilderness, don't forget to bring a dog and some Metamucil, and you will never get lost.
I feel so stupid because I've had dogs for years, and I don't stare at them. I give them a little bit of privacy, but I've been with them when they've eliminated any number of times, and it never occurred to me that they were always pointing in the same direction. I just never even thought to think of it.
And why do they look so guilty when they're doing it? They look sad and ashamed.
They do.
And if I were doing perfect, compass work while doing that, I'd be proud.
Yeah, I would be proud.
Faith, scientists at the University of Indiana have pinpointed the best way to crush a man's pride. Next time you want to do that, what is that way?
It's beyond the obvious, like rejection or saying,
Yes.
is that all?
I don't see this answer topping, is that all? I mean, she wasn't even saying it to me, and I feel terrible about myself.
I know. She said it. People can't see me right now. I'm curled up behind my podium weeping. It's terrible.
Can I have a hint?
Here's your excuse. Here's your excuse. I don't know where that came from.
That was so much better than anything anyone could ever write.
Peter, I don't need any excuses. Just hold me.
Obviously, I'm having a combat flashback here. Let's back up and say, here is your hint.
Okay.
It's like, after you, big guy, right this way, right through here.
Hold the door open for a man?
Exactly that. Yes, to hold the door open for a man. Scientists say holding a door open for a man to walk through strips a man of honor, self-esteem, and power. Not to mention the muscles in his arm will atrophy from lack of use.
Is this true, gentlemen, on stage with me? Is this
holding
the
the
worst
door
thing I
thing?
could do to you? Is open a door for you?
That sounds great.
Yeah,
even you describing it is turning me on.
What are you doing after the show?
I enjoy holding a door for my wife, though. It's a nice thing. It's a
nice
fun
gesture.
thing to do.
It's literally the least you can do, but it makes you feel good.
It is.
It makes you feel good, absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was the most I could do. That was like, those were my all-star days you're talking about.
Held the door for her today.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're angry at me, honey? I held the door for you just last week.
You'd still be outside.
If I hadn't. Paula, inspectors from the CDC and other agencies have determined that a recent outbreak of salmonella all over the country may have been caused by what?
Can you give me a hint?
Come here, Foghorn Leghorn, and give me some sugar.
God. Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, ugh.
My Aunt Irene? My great Aunt Irene. She used to chew snuff. And say, and she'd say, Paul, come here and give me some sugar.
And what did she want you to do?
Hold her spit can. So
when your aunt said, come and give me some sugar, what was she asking for?
Kissing chickens?
Kissing chickens, Paula.
Oh, yes.
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 Chickens kissing each other?
No.
People kissing chickens.
Look,
yeah.
it is okay if you're one of these new urban chicken owners. It's okay to read your chicken a bedtime story, maybe give it a back rub, but the CDC says quit taking your chicken down to Tongue Town because chicken kissing. Do chickens even have tongues?
They have waddles. Oh, no.
They have lips.
Yeah.
They have beaks.
Chicken kissing may be the cause of a recent salmonella outbreak in 23 states. One doctor said, quote, don't kiss the bird. You can show your affection in other ways, which makes us all start thinking about things that are even grosser than kissing a chicken.
Just hand-holding, I think, is enough.
Yeah. Now, this week, we've been looking at the past, but before we get back to that, we want to look at the future, specifically a show we are doing in Orlando, Florida on February 12th. You can get tickets by going to waitwait.npr.org. We end the hour with the news that really matters. Celebrity gossip. Here's what the stars were up to in 2014. Brian, you're probably familiar with Miley Cyrus's hit song Wrecking Ball.
No.
If I knew you're watching the video with the sound off, Brian.
No. Okay,
anyway, it's the one where she's like naked and singing, I came in like a wrecking ball. Well, that song was criticized this week. Came in for significant criticism from whom?
It's not Tipper Gore. She doesn't do that anymore.
No.
Okay. She's out of that game.
No.
Okay. Give me a hint.
Instead of being published in, say, Rolling Stone or a music magazine, this criticism was published in a peer-reviewed journal.
Like a doctor thing? Like other doctors write about? And
Yeah, doctors.
This procedure.
More broadly, who else wears white coats like doctors?
Psychologically Today? I don't know. Honestly, this is...
I don't know either.
You don't know? Tom, you look like you know this. Do you want to take it?
Scientists?
Scientists, yes, scientists.
Newtonian scientists?
Yes, physicists specifically.
Yeah.
apparently all the actual science that needs doing has been done because researchers at England's University of Leicester decided to find out what would happen if, indeed, Miley Cyrus were to take the place of a wrecking ball.
Oh, no.
They determined that a woman of her height and weight would need to be swinging at about 316 miles per hour
Oh, dear.
in order to bash through the walls of someone's house. Based on this, the researcher concludes, quote, "It is clear that a human being cannot possess the characteristics of a wrecking ball without sustaining significant injury."
I don't know. I feel like the only thing they may not be taking into account, though, is how dense Miley Cyrus actually is.
Yep.
Just saying.
What's wrong with this government? Arresting beautiful, innocent people.
That fan couldn't believe that her idol got arrested for drag racing while under the influence. Who was it?
Was it Justin Bieber?
It was Justin Bieber. Oh, the humanity. Justin Bieber was arrested for drag racing down a residential street in Miami. He was driving a Lamborghini. His friend was in a Ferrari. And afterwards, sobriety tests revealed he was under the influence of alcohol, pot, pills, and strawberry Go-Gurt.
Well, I don't like to bash on the Biebs. Is that what the kids call them?
Yeah, they call them that. You know, if I was 19 and had access to Lamborghinis, there'd probably be some time where I do some drunk drag racing too.
Yeah.
And they closed off the street. Nobody mentions that. So
well,
it was
he
contained.
Did. He had his sort of entourage in their SUVs close off the street at both ends because they were being safe.
Yeah.
That's safety first.
Safety first. But it is true. I mean, everybody's like, oh, Justin Bieber's getting in trouble. Justin Bieber is screwing up pretty much the same way we all screwed up when we were that age. He's 19, right? But he has the resources to screw up spectacularly.
Yeah.
And so that's so Canadian, the Canadian courtesy to block off the streets. So that is so Canadian.
I find that Justin Bieber, with every passing month, looks more and more like Hilary Swank, and I feel like it has in the mug. If you go home, look at the mugshot. Have we seen them in the same place recently?
He's a beautiful woman.
He is. He's a beautiful young Canadian boy woman.
Yeah.
And he needs to get it straightened out.
She attacked Jay-Z. That's the first hit she's had in years.
That was one of the many comments online to the story of who attacking Jay-Z this week.
Was that Beyonce's sister?
It was Beyonce's sister, Solange Knowles. So it all happened last week after the Met Gala in New York when Beyonce, along with Jay-Z, better known as Beyonce's husband, and Solange Knowles, better known as Beyonce's sister, and Beyonce's bodyguard, better known as the world's luckiest bodyguard, got into a hotel elevator and all hell broke loose, if you've seen it, and I'm sure you have, being NPR listeners. All of a sudden, Solange just sort of goes for Jay-Z, hits him with her purse, kicks him. Instantly, this leaked surveillance video became this generation's Zapruder film. What inspired the fight? Did Jay-Z retaliate? How many blows did Solange land with her handbag? Was there a second purse?
What did he know and when did he know it?
Well, did you guys see this tape?
I saw it. I found it so comforting.
What?
Well, it's just so nice to know that people who are incredibly rich, incredibly famous, incredibly everything, have the same kind of family dramas that we all do.
Wait a minute. So this struck you as familiar. Do you attack your sister's husband in elevators?
I don't have a sister, but, I'm not saying I wouldn't under the right circumstances.
I should say that Beyonce and her husband and sister have put out a statement saying they all love each other, but they have challenges, just like any other family. Meanwhile, the hotel where it all happened has put up signs saying, in case of fire or Beyonce's relatives kicking Jay-Z, please take the stairs.
By the way, they don't have the same challenges as the rest of us.
You don't think so?
Say it.
First of all, if someone attacks me in an elevator, I'm just going to get the stuffing kicked out of me. I don't have a bodyguard.
Maybe this is a reason to get one.
Right off the bat, that's a difference, I think, in our lives. Many of my albums have not sold as well.
Reporters at Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's wedding speculated that the bride might have blanked before the ceremony.
Had sex?
No, she's
they
a virgin.
were staying pure. No, they speculated the bride might have gotten liposuction on her toes.
Oh, stop it.
I'm not kidding. The procedure, which was named after famed shoe designer Louboutin, is known, and this is true, as a lube job. It involves doctors sucking tiny amounts of fat from your feet and then replacing your air filter and topping off your fluids for free.
Now, is that really worth it? Because, you know, they say about lipo, if you suck the fat out from there, it's going to show up someplace else.
Like your fingers.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Now, I mean, is that true that liposuction, if they suck the fat out of one part of your body, it goes to the place
If you're going to get fat again, it has to go someplace. So her
I've
toes
never
won't.
thought it.
Her toes won't get fat again, but maybe like her eyelids or something.
Yeah.
You know, or the things underneath your underarms.
The pooch.
Yeah.
Should get an underarm pooch.
I wouldn't risk it just to fit in a pair of shoes, is what I'm saying.
I think.
Sound advice.
That does it for our year in review. If this did not make you feel better about 2014, there's always heavy drinking.